And welcome back to the channel. Mr. Dracula here, coming at you with another balance patch visual breakdown. That's right, we have gotten a third patch, this one being an even bigger surprise than maybe even the first one. This one, though, admittedly is not as massive, as you can probably tell, as the first patch or even second patch. This is what I would call more of a cleanup patch. The first patch being, you know, what gave us this new version of the game. The second patch was a bunch of bug fixes for things that weren't intended. And now this third patch seems to be sort of a cleanup, sort of roundup patch where they have had enough time now. It's been about 2 months since the patch originally released. So they've had enough time now to see what was working, what didn't. And now they are going back in and adjusting a few things. Some characters that might have gotten nerfed too hard or buffed too high, and this little mini patch is here to just balance things out and hopefully give us a more balanced version of the game. So as usual, we'll just go ahead and break this down character by character, timestamps below. Let's go ahead and jump on into this. All right, so as usual, let's go ahead and start with the system changes, and this time there's only one system change, and that is a adjustment to the simple dash. So simple dash is obviously the act of pressing forward and super dash to get a dash out. If you have trouble doing it the manual way by using simple dash, you can do it with a single button, which is very nice. However, this button has a lot of overlap and can fail very easily. And according to the patch notes here, they made it to where the game will better prioritize. If a character has like a J2S, the game will prioritize your input over the dash. So to translate, you're now less likely to get an input that you don't want when using the simple dash. As you can see, I'm doing it right here. I'm not accidentally getting a J2S or anything like that. It's just more accurate, and this is across the board for any character that has a J2S. So all in all, this is just a benefit to the dash macro if you're one of the players that chooses to use it. Okay, first up is SSJ Vegeta. He got a buff to his medium rocket kick. If you connect only the final hit of the medium version, the opponent will no longer fly away from you, forcing you to have to get a backdash for them to bounce off the wall and you to continue your combo. If you hit just the final kick only of the medium version, they will now spin out and allow you to combo it mid-screen without having to backdash. This also works after a 5H. So with that, he'll have a little bit more combo flexibility, which is always a really good thing. Teen Gohan, he got a buff to his 2S as well as his Air 2S. They basically, the way it's worded in the patch notes is very, very complicated, but to put it simply, they adjusted how it acts in the corner. So now when you do this in the corner, the explosion hits closer to the opponent. So now it is a lot easier to do his loop in the corner. And when I say easy, it's extremely easy. So yeah, very, very simple, very, very reliable. And this powerhouse character is going to get even more damage now than ever before. Frieza got a couple of buffs, some of them a little weird, but one in particular is very, very strong. So let's go ahead and start with the silliest one. He got a buff to his level 3. If you press up during the activation, he will go higher in the air before coming down. Bit of a bizarre change. I feel like this is just to help you connect it more easily. Maybe if you do like level 1 into level 3 or after a Dragon Rush, whatever. Either way, I guess they just want him to have more freedom to land his level 3 mid-screen. Next up, another sort of weird one, but also a quality of life change. His Wake Up Reversal Super got buffed. It comes out a little bit faster now. If you're a Frieza main, you can probably tell that like the long pause is basically gone. So now if you're going for any sort of, you know, disc loop combo or even as a reversal, whatever, the long pause before he fires the blast is gone. So now in any of the combos where you want to use this, it's just going to be easier to land than before. And now on to his actual pretty considerable buff, if you ask me. So first of all, this one is twofold. In the last patch, if you don't remember, Frieza got a buff to his 4M, and this opened up a lot of new combo opportunities for him. Well, the combos that it gave him were a little awkward and a little janky, so they went ahead and gave another quality of life buff here to Frieza to help make those combos more consistent. So first of all, Frieza got a new input. He now has a 3M. This is his regular 2M, you know, where he spins and tries to hit you low, and this is the 3M. As you can see, he lunges forward very far, so far that this 10 frame low can hit you from round start. So that's really good just in general as a poke, and then that'll help a lot in his combo game. And then the other part of it is they made the hitbox of his 2M and 3M bigger. So now when you do his new loop, it's a lot easier to hook them out of the air with the 2M because the attack box is enlarged. So all in all, Frieza's combo game is just going to be a lot stronger and a lot more consistent than it already was. Krillin. In the last patch, Krillin saw some changes to his JS that messed with a lot of his combo loops, and it looks like they are trying to make some adjustments so that he gets to keep his buffs, but also get all of his old routing back. Starting off with J6S, the fast version of the 6S, if you will. Now, if you do diagonal down forward, that is to say 3 instead of just 6, you will now no longer get the sped up version. So this is to make sure that there's no sort of overlap or interference with the fast version. That way you can differentiate between doing the fast version and the regular version to help with the consistency of his air combos. And also to help with this, they buffed the distance of the follow-up input. So when you do S and then 6S or S and then 4S, this has been buffed even more slightly, again, to help make sure his original combos are more consistent and that the opponent won't be dropping out as frequently as they were right before this patch. So obviously Krillin is not a character who is hurting in any way other than, you know, his combo inconsistency that, you know, popped up after the patch. So hopefully these changes are exactly what he needs to get his routing back. And with that intact, he is once again going to be one of the best characters in the game. Gotenks. Gotenks actually received an assist buff, specifically his B assist. They buffed the hit reaction on it. So before, when you would call his B assist, it was dependent on when the opponent got hit by it. If they got hit by it from up close, you would get a lot of hit stun. If they got hit from afar, you would get little to none. With the new buff that he just received, now no matter when they get hit by it, whether it's from tip range, you still get the pop-up. So as you can see, they no longer just sort of fall over when they get hit by the tip range. They actually pop up into the air. So this will make it a lot easier as a combo confirm. This is a really, really good quality of life buff for him because his B assist is already one of the best lariat assists in the whole game. So the fact that it is even easier to convert and it goes almost full screen and it lasts a while and it's got good block stun, yeah, this is a great buff for Gotenks. Majin 21, considered by most to be one of the biggest winners of the previous patch, looks like she's winning again because they decided to give her yet another buff, specifically to her knockdown game. Fans of 21 are really happy because she finally got a sliding knockdown in the patch, and they decided to enhance that ability even further. Now when you do the EX version of her dive, if they are not in a smash state, or should I say if you've already used your smash, you now get an even bigger knockdown than before. So as you can see now, they do sort of a pop and then they slide for a while. So this is going to help with them falling out of combos that they may have fallen out of before. It's going to give you more Oki options, and it's just automatically going to make it even easier to get your supers. All around, just a great buff, and a amazing character just got even a little bit better. Zamasu. Now, if you can even actually believe what I'm about to say, Zamasu has been buffed considerably. I can't believe it. We're about to get to it, but first let's talk about a bug fix slash nerf to his A assist. So apparently, and I personally had no idea about this, but apparently his A assist was bugged. Not only did it have weird damage scaling on it, but apparently it used to give you meter, according to the patch notes. It says that they adjusted the damage scaling and they fixed an issue where the key gauge would increase when using it. So in other words, this assist, and I don't think anyone noticed this, but this assist was giving people meter when it was called. So that's weird. And yeah, definitely that's got to go. So that's gone. But on to his actual buff. And this one is insane. They buffed his flight mode again. So in the last patch, his flight mode got nerfed. He can no longer fly anywhere near as long as he used to be able to. However, I guess to compensate that, they went ahead and gave him a buff to his teleport. When you do his teleport now, you can cancel the animation into supers. This was something he could not do before. You would have to teleport and then super, but you can literally cut the animation off into a super. So you probably can already tell where this is going. He now has a 100% guaranteed punish on super dashes. You can even do it very late. Honestly, I don't even know what to say. I mean, personally, as a Zamasu main, I'm happy enough just being able to do that. I feel like that's good enough. But man, now that you can do this, I mean, wow. Videl, widely considered by most, myself included, to be the biggest loser of the patch. A lot of people were upset with what they did to Videl in the patch, but let's go ahead and take a look at the buffs that they gave her to compensate for the nerfs. So let's start off with the more minor one. They went ahead and buffed her wake up level 3. So you've probably been in a situation where you've either used Videl's level 3 wake up or been on the receiving end of it and just jumped over it to negate it. Well, thanks to this new buff that she got, it is no longer possible. If you try to jump over the Saiyaman when he's doing the level 3 and he's powered up, this is what happens. There's now literally a barrier there that you cannot traverse. So this is a 100% safe super. As you can see, I'm the Videl. I just did that. I'm now +2. So not only did I get to wake up, but I'm waking up with plus frames, and the opponent cannot jump over this. They have to take it. So that's actually really, really good. That's kind of crazy. Just a free wake up. Again, Gohan does have to be powered up for this to work, but that is a pretty big buff. But that's not what you want to hear about. You want to hear about the Gohan power-up punch. So, in case you haven't heard by some miracle, this was heavily nerfed in the last patch. So, when you do it now, it no longer triggers a cutscene. Saiyaman's on the screen. Videl can't call him. And if Videl tags or gets hit, he goes away. So all of those things are still true. However, they are willing to meet you halfway. If you do it, Gohan starts dancing and you raw tag, they are willing to meet you halfway. I just tagged out. I'm going to tag back in, and as you can see, did the damage. There you go. So you're allowed to raw tag now. You just can't DHC it. Not only that, you are also allowed to get hit. So she just shot me. Gohan got interrupted. He didn't finish his dance. However, still got the damage, still have the power up. So I feel like this is a much better sort of truce now, because it's no longer as powerful as it was, but it's definitely way better than the nerfed version. GT Goku, similar to a couple other characters on this list, he got a slight quality of life change to his combo game. They went ahead and buffed the stun time on his grounded beam. So when you do the beam on the ground, they spin out for just a little bit longer. This is to help with his combo conversions in the corner and even getting super dashes from mid-screen, both of which should be even easier than they were before. Janemba, this is gonna be a pretty quick one. They buffed, quote unquote, this is kind of a weird one. They buffed his J2L. When the opponent is on the ground, his J2L now has a fixed height to it. It no longer comes out above their head. It just comes out on the same height no matter what. So you can see it's hitting lab coat in that area. And if I switch to someone way taller, like 16, you can see it's still the same thing. So I guess this is just meant to make it more consistent. I guess if it's higher up, it was acting a little strange, but now that shouldn't be the case. Now that it hits so low to the ground, it should function even better as an instant overhead. Kafla, another one with a very quick and minor buff, but one that is definitely going to be helpful. They went ahead and buffed her gigantic breaker. So if you use it in a combo, as soon as you active tag, it allows you to let the charge go. That way it makes the hit less wonky. So as you can see right here, if I do this, see how it kind of like messes up the whole route? Well, now thanks to the new version of the spin, that is no longer the case. She actually lets it go. So now when you active tag it, especially in the corner, it should just be way more consistent and easy to get your follow-ups and your dragon rushes, whether it is mid-screen or in the corner. UI Goku. I think we all knew this one was coming. UI Goku has been nerfed. Now, before you panic and say that he's dead, let me just say that it's not that crazy of a nerf. They went ahead and nerfed what you would expect, his 6H. Now, they didn't take away his ability to do it. If you haven't heard, UI Goku can now use 6H to convert combos. And what they did to adjust it so that it's not as insanely strong as it was, you probably just noticed it, it now costs meter. If you do it normally outside of a combo, not at all, but inside of a combo, you can see there it costs about 10% of your meter. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. So now when he gets full screen conversions like this, it's not gonna build crazy meter like it did before, because it actually does put you in meter penalty. That's the biggest thing. This move, 6H, is now treated as an EX move, so it follows all the rules of an EX move. So if you do his loop, for example, you can see it's no longer building meters. So he's not going to be a big meter build character like he was when he got this change. So you're going to have to start building your team around that, because again, he's going to be frequently going into meter penalty as long as you use 6H. One of the biggest things, anytime someone hit a move like this, they would just do this over and over and over for no reason. And as you can see, doing that now is going to cost you a pretty considerable amount of meter. So there's no reason to BM your opponent anymore, unless you just don't care about your meter, because by the time they get up, if you just keep doing it over and over, as you can see, I've lost a considerable amount of gauge down there. So all in all, I feel like this is pretty okay in my opinion. he doesn't lose any of the utility. You can still use it to freely convert anything. All in all, a change like this, it's gonna take time to see how it affects the character overall. But for now, I feel like he'll be fine. If you combine all the buffs that he got and the fact that he can still actually use 6H as much as he wants, in my opinion, he'll be fine, but time will definitely tell. Roshi got two interesting quality of life buffs. The first one having to do with the simple dash. So if you've ever tried playing Roshi with simple dash, you would know that it's actually kind of difficult to switch between getting a reverse Kamehameha and an actual simple dash. It's very challenging to get the one that you want. So in this patch, they adjusted the prioritization of your inputs so that it'll be a little bit easier to get the simple dash and not accidentally get a reverse Kame when you don't want it, which is a very, very nice quality of life change for him. And besides that, he did get a pretty nice buff. They went ahead and rebuffed his lightning shock surprise. So in the last patch, they made it to where it has sort of a vacuum effect where they fall towards you. Now you can see the vacuum effect is even stronger than before. They float towards you more slowly, and then when they bounce, you have even more time to convert. So now you are just ultra guaranteed to get your combo afterwards. It's very, very, very easy to get just about any button here. Like, you basically can't miss it. But the biggest thing is they brought back his old TOD routes. So now you can do this into Spark, and they will no longer fall into the Spark. So now you will be able to zap them, Spark, and then do like big, crazy, major damage. So Roshi, being a TOD machine, is sort of his identity on top of his strong defense. So now that he can move more easily and has his TOD options back, this old man is even more dangerous than he already was. And with that, we have reached the end of this patch note visual guide. Thanks for listening, guys. Yeah, I honestly cannot believe that this is my third time making one of these. It still kind of feels surreal that this game is back in such a strong way. I was telling my chat before that this game has never been treated this way, where it's been like consistently updated, where they're fixing bugs and they're fixing adjustments and they're readjusting characters like in a timely fashion. I honestly don't even know what to say, because this has never happened, but it does make me happy. It makes it feel like this game does have like a big bright future ahead of it, and it really isn't the end, because yeah, they're just staying right on top of things, and this probably isn't the last patch. I can almost guarantee that now going forward, since we already had 3 of these, probably going to be another one, and maybe one after that, and I'm definitely down for it. I feel like they're doing a really good job. They're listening to the fans. They're keeping an eye on things, and can't really ask for much more than that. But as always, thanks so much for listening. If you found this helpful, consider subscribing and leaving a like, as it does help out the channel a lot, and I do appreciate it. I'm going to be streaming a lot more of this patch, as well as the Marvel Tokon beta all weekend, and that game just in general when it comes out, so keep an eye out for that. But as always, you guys have a good one, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.